So, welcome. You'd like to get married in the Catholic Church, huh? Well, after we begin in prayer, I'm going to have you step outside while I privately interview your fiance under oath with this document. While he's doing that, I'd like you to fill out this contact information sheet. You know, the usual email, phone, parents' names, where you were baptized. Then I'll have you switch places and I'll privately interview the bride under oath. Sometime before your wedding, I will need a parent or a trusted individual who has known you your entire life to come in and have a brief private interview with me, under oath, naturally, to confirm that you are in fact free to marry. If one of you isn't Catholic or is not baptized, then I'll have you sign this document for a dispensation and that you will do everything in your power to raise your future children as Catholics. Then we'll have a very brief bubble sheet inventory. This will take about 45 minutes. It's called the Focus Inventory. And then I'll send you on your way with this little booklet about your options for scripture, for readings, for songs, and the vows for your actual wedding. We'll meet about 4 times before the big day. Sound like a plan? Feeling overwhelmed? Well, that's all right. That's how most couples feel when they come in for marriage prep, looking at all the stuff that they have to do. But come along with me, your guide, Father Jacob Rouse, pastor of Notre Dame Parish in Cresco, Iowa, as we talk about everything that goes into wedding prep. Before we get into it really deeply, I want to answer the question, why does the Catholic Church have so much paperwork? Why is there so many rules with this Catholic Church? Why can't we all just love each other like Jesus wanted? Well, that's correct, and I've answered this before about the Eucharist or about different sacraments, and the short answer is because it's important. The fact that marriage is supposed to be between man and a woman for your entire life, that's a big deal. That's a big commitment. And so it takes a lot of thought, a lot of preparation, and same thing with the Eucharist, same thing with a bank account, same thing with surgery, same thing with traveling on a plane or astronauts going into space. There's so much prep and so much details to go into it beforehand. It's because it's important and it matters. And so that's what I'd like you to keep in mind as I explain all this. First up, we have the Prenuptial Questionnaire for the groom. This is Form 1 of 4, maybe, depends. Knowing that an oath is sacred and that perjury is a grave offense, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth in answering the following questions? Yes. Your full name, age, date of birth, place of birth, are you baptized, what denomination, date, are you confirmed, what religion do you currently practice, what is the full name of your intended spouse? She's sitting out there answering this sheet about email and phone and contact and stuff. And it's a great test because sometimes they go, wait, shoot, what is her middle name? Oh yeah, that's right, Marie, And so not only, it's not a test, okay? None of this is a test to see if you're qualified for marriage, or I'm not going to judge or evaluate you. It's the same thing as when you go into a bank, you have to start a new account, you have to answer all these questions. They're going to approve you for your account and for your credit card and checking account and everything, but you got to go through all the steps first. Marital consent. This is a huge thing. Marriage is a covenant by which its nature is permanent and indissoluble, and it is ordered toward the good of the spouses, the procreation, and the education of offspring. Do you agree, under oath you're answering this, do you agree to enter this marriage for life? Yes. Do you give your spouse the right to have children? Yes. Do you intend to be faithful to your spouse for life? Yeah. I mean, that's what marriage is, right? You would be surprised at how much those things drift away in the future in marriage. Right over here, see this big stack of envelopes right there? That's all my weddings I have. And then over here, that yellow stack right there is my annulments. All the wedding files right here that I'm taking notes on someday will be locked in a filing cabinet. And then, God forbid, hopefully they don't separate or become divorced and need an annulment later. I made a video about annulments if you need to know what those are. All the notes I'm taking right here, the promise you made that this is for life, that you'll be faithful, all that ends up right there for the priest to look at and the tribunal to look at later. So it's, why not? You're going to be making this vow, yes, in front of people, yes, into the microphone at the actual ceremony, but why not answer these questions as many times as possible just to be absolutely sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Canonical issues, these things, if I cannot legally marry you, if any of these are a yes, kind of like if you have bad credit or don't have I don't know what you would not get a bank account with. Have you ever been ordained a priest or been a nun before? Yes or no? It's always no, and they laugh at that. If you were a priest or nun and then you tried to marry without being released from your priestly or nunly vows, I can't validly marry you because you're already bound to that other obligation. Are you related to your intended spouse by blood, by marriage, or adoption? Are you related? We want to keep, things pure and kosher, and so you can't be related to your spouse at all. This is an interesting one. Are you aware of any physical defect that would prevent you from having sexual intercourse? No. If you're aware of something, we ask that because the Catholic Church likes sex, the Catholic Church likes children, and part of marriage is bringing forth children. And so if you're unable to have intercourse, then that's one of the requirements of marriage. Are you giving your consent to this marriage freely? Is there anything that's forcing you, or any circumstance, or any person? Are you attaching any conditions? So are you pregnant right now? Are you rushing into this because shotgun wedding or whatever? Are you in debt? Are you drowning in medical bills that you're trying to get some extra help with this marriage? Are you attaching any conditions? And they say no. And I go, even if she snores? Ha ha ha, very funny. No, I'm not. Well, there are some conditions that are attached to marriage. Like, if we get married, you're not allowed to ever look at or talk to another woman for as long as you live. That is a condition that is placed on marriage, and therefore that means the marriage isn't real because you're placing a condition. Or he's going to give me half of his paycheck every single month, that sort of thing. These things are asked by each. I'm asking the groom and the bride individually under oath these things. And then they always have agreed in my experience, But if I were to find out, oh yeah, I'm pregnant and he doesn't know, well, we got to talk about that, because it's not like I'm not going to let you get married. Every Christian has a right to marriage. It is your God-given right, R-I-G-H-T. And so anyone who comes in here, unless one of these things is a check mark, a red flag, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give you your marriage, even if I think it's a bad idea. I will still say, maybe we should, hold off a little bit. Maybe wait till you're more mature. Maybe wait till you're more prepared. But it is my obligation as a priest to give you the right to get married. And so, if we find out that, has either of you ever experienced any emotional or mental condition or chemical dependency? Have you been married before? Yeah, I was in Las Vegas, but I didn't tell her. It was just a weekend fling. That's still a marriage, and we need to rectify that. And so, are you bound by any natural obligations to a former spouse or children? Do you have children with another person, and are you taking care of them? Has your intended spouse ever been in a previous marriage? They say no. Well, there was that one time, so all these things are basically like, once again, it's a fishnet. I'm going to use that analogy a lot. It's a fishnet to catch all these things before we go on. And then I have you sign it, signature of the groom. I sign it, and then we go to the affidavits. Of the Prenuptial Questionnaire, we have an affidavit. An affidavit is something that, well, you can't, what am I doing? You can't even see it. Okay, this is Form 2. Form 2, there's two of these. One for the bride, one for the groom. This affidavit concerns the freedom to marry of John Smith, who plans to marry Amy Schuler. Having God as your witness, and I'm asking someone who's known them their entire life, so usually it's a parent. Having God as your witness, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth in answering the following questions? Yes. What is your relationship to the above-mentioned person? Well, they're my daughter. How long have you known this person? My whole life. How old is she? 31. Okay. How well acquainted are you with him or her? Very well. So these questions are there. I've never had anything, but this is just the stuff we go through. How well are you acquainted with this person? I haven't talked to her in 15 years. We don't speak. Oh, well, maybe we should find someone else who can answer this. Then we get to, has the above-mentioned person, your daughter or son, ever entered marriage before? Nope. Then I cross a big X through this part where it would ask where the marriage was and when it was and everything like that. So this is basically, not that I don't trust the bride and the groom, but just as an extra protection, as a double check, I want someone knowledgeable about both of them to answer these questions. So those are the affidavits, and those are done, and those are put in the marriage file as well. Next, we have the request for dispensation. So a fully valid, I've talked about validity before, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is 2 pieces of bread, peanut butter and jelly together. If one of those ingredients is missing, it's not valid or it's illicit. Or if the bread is moldy, it would be an illicit peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So for a valid full marriage, it's 2 Catholics that have not left the church. But because it's your right, R-I-G-H-T, to get married in the church, if you are marrying a Jewish person or a Protestant, a non-Catholic, or a Muslim even, or whoever, or an atheist, or if you aren't baptized, it's your right to marry that person that you love. The church has all this stuff and makes my job hard and makes our job more, complicated because the church loves us. If the church just said, yeah, go ahead, get married whoever you want, whatever their religion, that's going to make some, problems later, possibly, maybe not, but we also have to, prepare you for the life you're going to live if you're going to choose to get married to someone who is of different upbringing with you. Later, as we talk about, so religion is one thing, yes, but what if one of you is vegan, or what if one of you hates working out and the other one does? Like, that's just one of the littler things that I want to help prepare and walk you through. So there's a dispensation. I'm dispensing you and allowing you to get married. I know that sounds harsh. Or I'm giving you permission to marry a non-Catholic. Once again, the permission thing, the obligation, all these words sound really harsh, but it's because this is important and it's because the church loves us. This is interesting, the declaration and promise of a Catholic who is marrying a non-Catholic. I reaffirm my faith in Jesus. This is let's say the wife, the fiance is Catholic and the husband is not Catholic. I reaffirm my faith in Jesus Christ, and with God's help, I intend to continue living that faith. I promise to do all in my power to share the faith I have received with our future children by having them baptized and raised as Catholics. Signature of the Catholic. Then the Catholic party, I sign it, and the non-Catholic party is aware of that fact. So once again, this might sound kind of harsh, like, why are you making us raise our kids Catholic? Well, the Catholic Church is entitled, just like any other organization, to preserving itself in the future, so why not ask that? Also, this language is important. I promise to do all in my power to share the faith and raise my kids Catholic. All in my power, if the husband is totally against the Catholic Church and forbids it, the wife is still saying that I will do all in my power, Or if most of the time the husband's like, yeah, I think it's good that we raise the kids Catholic, so I've never had a problem with that. Once again, all this stuff is just a fishnet to catch anything that might hinder your beautiful life together. So the non-Catholic party is aware that this is being signed, and the Catholic party signs it, and usually there's no problems, but sometimes there is. So anyway, okay, next one. The Focus Questionnaire. This is a 189 question bubble sheet. It reminds you of high school. It's literally a bubble sheet questionnaire. I don't call it a test. I don't call it a quiz because people are afraid and worried that they're going to fail it. But basically, it's a list of questions that goes through all this, and true or false or unsure. So one of them is, as a couple, we have many mutual friends that we both enjoy. True or false? Okay. My family approves of my future spouse. Okay. Oh, by the way, facilitating open couple communication, understanding, and study. That's what FOCUS stands for. So it's a questionnaire. Let's see. I feel uncomfortable with the idea of my future spouse disciplining our children. Let's see. I am concerned that I am marrying too soon. All this stuff. I feel uncomfortable asking my future spouse to pray with me. Here's another one. Under no circumstance could I remain married to my spouse if they were unfaithful to me. So all this stuff, once again, it's not a test. This is just how prepared are you and how much work do we, the 3 of us and 4 of us, have to do together to get ready for this. So we bring it up, like say, hey, I love asking them, like, what's a hobby that she likes? Or what's a hobby that he likes? What's the most money that you could spend on a rifle or a fishing rod without telling her? Financial questions, readiness issues, family, in-laws, all this stuff gets brought up and talked about. And then the cool thing is that I have a lot of couples say, yeah, on the drive home from talking to you and going over this questionnaire, we had a lot of good discussions. Even before we even start the discussion, they get excited and talk about some of the things in here because they've never thought about it before. And so this is another act of love that the church gives us. Mother Church says, I want you to be as ready and as happy as possible. So that is the focus questionnaire. Finally, I give you this little book, and depending on the parish you go to or the diocese you're in, it might be different or it might be a different publication, but these are all the suggestions for readings, a first, a second, and a gospel, and a psalm. And then your vows themselves. Let me find the vows. I didn't bookmark before this video. That's okay, though. Well, Father, why can't we write our own vows? Or why are you telling us what songs we can and can't have? Well, because this is a liturgy. This is a public celebration, and it's not all about you. I know I'd like to think it is all about us, but this is a thing that's done within the church and in the same order and the same rite, R-I-T-E. And so, therefore, all across the board, they need to be the same in order for liturgy to be the same. If I wanted to change the words, this is my body, which will be given up for you. If I wanted to change that, that's selfish of me as a priest, and it's not true liturgy. It's not true Mass. So the vows here are the exchange of consent, I suppose. Consent is very, very big. We're very, very big about consent because I am consenting to give my entire life to you. And in the same way, the bride is consenting to give her entire life to him. It's completely mutual. That's why we went back to that original interview or the questionnaire for the bride and the groom. John, do you take Amy to be your wife? Do you promise to be faithful to her in good times and in bad, sickness and in health, to love her and honor her all the days of her life? I do. Or the other formula is, I, John, take you to be my wife. I promise to be faithful to you. They will say this. So you've got 4 different options for vows or for consent. So there's still choice in there. And then finally, you will go to what's called pre-Cana. Pre-Cana is like a conference, a day-long class of other future married couples, and it's usually taught by a deacon and his wife or a priest. And they just walk through things about finances, about faithfulness, about prayer together, about birth control and family planning. They talk about all this stuff so that you can be as ready as possible. It's called pre-Cana because Cana is where Christ did his miracle of the water into wine at Cana, the wedding. And so we're saying that this is before the wedding, before Cana. Anyway, so I hope this is this is kind of a dry video. I know, just information, but every single person does this, even if both parties are Catholic, even if they go to church every single week and are totally faithful, or if they haven't been to church since they were little kids. This is all stuff. If you are saying, I want a bank account, or I want a heart surgery at the hospital or at the bank, the doctor or the teller is going to have you go through all that stuff so that you can be as prepared and ready. Same thing with driver's ed and getting a license. It's funny that we have a license to marry, and then finally, not finally, a second time. I know the classic, it's like a Taylor Swift song, and the classic, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? That's what the affidavit is. We don't actually do that at the wedding, because that'd be embarrassing, and it should have been all taken care of up to that point. But the speak now or forever hold your peace is happening every single step, every single one of these questions. Is there any reason why this forthcoming marriage of your daughter should not take place? No. Is this person being forced in any way to enter this marriage? So the speak now or forever hold your peace would be, they're pregnant and they have only been dating for a month and they're rushing into this. So, okay, I'll write that down. Very good. Good to know. We can talk about that and try to prepare. So if you have someone or you yourself would like to get married in the Catholic Church, I'm happy to, have this video shared with them or explain it myself or whatever. But remember, the Catholic Church has a bunch of rules and asks us to do so much stuff because it's important. So marriage is important, life together is important, and I'm here to make sure you are as happy and as holy as you can possibly be. Thank you. I'll see you this weekend.